Welcome to another episode of Son of Elijah. My name is Mac the Lion, and I'm your host for this program. We continue our series on the artistry of witchcraft and the dynamics of the levels wherein witchcraft functions. We talked about the depths, the planes, and the heights of witchcraft. We talked about those that use the power of the snake from the depths of the waters, wherein which they are connected or interconnected with that spirit that is connected to their womb. We talked about the three layers or the three-dimensional functionality of witchcraft, be it from the depths, be it from the planes, and be it from the heights. And then in our last episode, we zeroed in on information, because information is the core and the instrument of functionality for witches. Witches cannot operate except they have information. Data is what they do, and the movement of that data generates heat, and the heat that is being generated by that data is coming from corruption, because that corruption is falsehood or lies, and it's that lies that they utilize in order to bring ruinage and manipulation to the lives of those that are listening to them. Now, information is on three layers. The depth of information. First, the manipulated data from the depths is designed to rewrite your history. It depends so much, many a times, on culture. It depends so much on the familiar. It depends so much on families around you, because you have to understand that witchcraft in itself is family-based. And the reason why it's family-based is because witchcraft depends so much on the familiar that is around it. That's why most people who are attacked by witches are people who know them, not people they've never met or don't have any dealings with them. Many a times it's the familiar. So the Bible says, and Jesus said this, he said, the members of a man's household are the ones that will become his enemy, because your enemies are many a times are people that are around you. Most people who are killed on the earth today are killed by people that know them, not even people that don't know them. So you have to understand that's how it works. That's why when there's a grudge, where there's animosity, it's always interrelated with someone that someone knows, not someone you don't know. People naturally don't envy or jealous someone they don't know. But once it's someone they know, that's when there is now the propensity for jealousy and envy. So you must understand that dynamics. Now, the foundational depths of information generated from those that have a womb wherein there's a snake that is functioning from the depth of that womb, they depend so much on rewriting history. And rewriting history means that they go to the source of your familiar and try and create some type of falsehood to redirect or micromanage your existence that is outside the originality of the God who created you. Family and people around you are custodians. They are not the source of your existence. You must always go back to the Father of all spirits and get your source, because spiritual realm is where the source is. The source is not in the physical. Now, we already leave that, so I will not go back into that. Now, let's go to the second dimension of information. The second dimension of information is the information that operates from the physical realm, and that has to do with all those that function either on altars, those that are wizards, those that have bases, those that operate out of, those that are like inyangas, and even those who function out of any kind of evil priesthood. Even the ones that are also in church, because there are wizards in churches also. There are individuals who are literally left the bush, because you see there is no business in the bush. People are not coming to the bush. The younger generation are not consulting them. So they have to adapt. And in order for them to adapt, they've come to the church. They've established churches. Many of them now are running churches, and they are wizards. And it's easy for you to catch a wind of them when they start telling you some strange things you need to do. Once it doesn't add up, there is always something about a corrupted life that you can pick up. But you must understand what they work with. They work with disinformation. You must understand what that spirit works with. Remember, the depths of information is to rewrite history in order to produce manipulation that will bring life to a place of nothingness. Now, when we come to the physical wizard who functions to using altars, installation, using a base, using a place where there is blood sacrifices and all kinds of things in order for him to instruct, be it an Inyanga, be it a wizard, I don't care who that person is. You must understand specifically that what they work with is misinformation. So what is misinformation? Misinformation is any information that will manipulate you at the end of the day, but doesn't get you closer to solving the problem or dealing with the issue or bringing you to the tangent of your expectations in life. Never. That's what misinformation does. If someone tells you 10 things you need to do, but all those things don't add up, don't do it. If someone tells you go and do this, bring this, do this, it doesn't add up. I remember someone that was telling me of a man that was selling oil for people for $500 and $1,000, and when people come problems, he just tells them buy. He tells them buy. He tells them buy. Then at the end of the day, he tells them go. So I asked the person, I said, so you are trying to tell me that everything that I've ever done since I was born, either to bring me closer to God or to take me away from God, is only solved if I buy an oil from a certain man and apply that oil, and then all my problems are done. Then I can go and be doing whatever I want with my life. I said, what level of stupidity is that? How does that even work? Do you understand the complexities of life? Do you know that each complexity in itself requires its own solution? It's like saying you have one key that opens all the door in your house. There's no such thing. It's like you saying you have one key that opens all the cars you drive. You have one car key to drive your Mercedes. You have one car key to drive your VW. You have one car key, same car key to drive your Toyota. You have one car key for your Bentley. Does that make sense? Is it possible? It is not possible. There can't be a one-stop solution for all problems. It doesn't, because each dimension in life has its own complexity, and each one requires its own key. There's a different key even to open the doors and the boot, and many a time there's a different key to kickstart the engine, because the dynamics of each of them differ. Even though these days now they've unified it into one master key that can do all of it because of technology has improved, but yet you can't use the key of your Mercedes to open the door of your Toyota. It is not possible. The reason is because each and everyone has their own solution. So when someone is telling you he has a one-stop solution for all your problems, he's misinforming you, he's deceiving you, he's lying, and at the end of the day he's going to make that situation far worse than before it started. Why is that? It's very simple. Because the dynamics of your existence would always be regulated by complying with the Word of God. And the reason why the Word of God, the Bible has 66 books, is because the complexities of life will require each and every problem to be dealt on the foundation of what that problem entails. So what problem you have with your child is not the same type of problem you have in the office. The problem you have in the office is not the same type of problem you have maybe with your wife. The problem you may have with your wife is not the same type of problem you have with your friend. The problem you have with your friend will not be the same type of problem you have in the restaurant that you went to eat, or a problem in the parking lot of a certain hotel you went to attend a conference. Everyone will require a different issue to be dealt with. The problems that are medical cannot be applied to problems in farming. The problems of farming cannot be applied to the problems you face in the classroom, in the educational world. It can't be the same with your money matters. When you have money problems, you go to what? A financial advisor. You don't go down to a school teacher to grant you or give you the wisdom on how to manage your resources, because that's not his assignment. That's not what he's called to do. So he doesn't have the proficiency of it. He doesn't have the skill for it. Why am I saying this? Because every time you take information that doesn't apply to which area you are functioning in, it creates misinformation. That means you have missed the information that is necessary to solve that problem. It's misinformation. So what wizards do is to misinform people. They promise them things that they cannot deliver on. Many a times is when it comes to evil things that many a times you see them step up to the plate. When people want to kill somebody, schedule their demise or something, they go to wizards, and then they give them a certain type of poison to use and how to use it. At times they tell them, I'm going to make an incantation. When the image of the person appears in that mirror, I want you to start, because the very minute you do that, that person will be gone. And the reason why they do all these dynamics is because they are trying to execute whatever that person wants. But many a times they don't tell the person the consequences of what they're about to do. Many a times they don't tell them that if that thing doesn't work, it will come back to you, and that sudden death will not happen to you. They will not tell them. They will just tell them, be careful, make sure you succeed, make sure, just make sure. The reason they don't tell them is because they don't want them to skip their patronage. So they go ahead, and many a times they run into problems. And when things don't go as it should go, or even when it goes as you go, as they want it to go, it's only momentary, it's only temporary, because much later down the road, the consequences of what they have done will come upon them. You know how many men and young women are suffering today because of the sins of their forefathers, things they did. And many a times these wizards or these persons they consulted did not tell them that their children would beg for bread, because you are putting a curse on them by this evil you are doing. But he won't tell them. He will just give them what they want, tell them to make these incantations, do this, do that, because these entities bring misinformation. And let me even go beyond there. Do you know there are people you are relating with? They are not wizards, but they are manipulating you. because they want something you want, or they don't want you to have that thing you've always had. They see that you have a good, wonderful family, and they see how your children are beautiful and see everything is glossy. Then they start giving you advice that will destroy that family. They start telling you things that will put your wife down, or they might start telling you things to do to your wife that will destroy her or break her down and destroy the marriage. Why? Because they want your family to fail, but you don't know. You think he's your friend. What you don't understand is that because of that jealousy, he inherently will give you information that is corrupt. And that information will produce what? Manipulation. And that manipulation will ruin your institution. That is what it means by misinformation. That means it doesn't solve the problem, it even escalates it and worsens the matter. That's exactly what we are dealing with in this world. There's so much misinformation. If you go to the YouTubes of our world, you go to TikTok of our world, you go to Facebook of our world, there are people giving you counsel for things you did not ask for their counsel. It's almost like as if they are out there to give you a consultation you never signed up for. And that's why when I listen to some of these things, I'm always very careful. I move on my way because it's a waste of my time. You have to understand that anyone you grant access to speak with you and tell you what to do, it will give you an information. And many a times those information do not line up with God's best for you, except that person represents a pure heart that is truly of the Father, that they seek your elevation and want you to be established and to be great. That's when you see the person will do everything they can and must to make sure the information is correct. People have given people information that ruined them, that damaged them, that cursed them, that cost everything they own to go. And when they went back to the same person, they said, oh, but that's what I felt was okay at that point in time. I know of a lady who said she got married before her friends. She started sharing with her friends on the problems she was facing in her marriage. And many of them started advising her, oh, do him like this, oh, do him like that, oh, deny him sex if necessary, oh, do this, whatever. At times, don't cook for him. Who does he think he is? Don't wash his clothes. Are you a slave? No, if he can't do his own laundry, leave it for him. And they kept telling her, they say, you go girl, do what you gotta do. A man can't tell you what to do. And then when the marriage eventually collapsed, they just told her, you know what, divorce that idiot. Divorce him, is a fool. He has no common sense. I've always told you I never believed in that guy. And then at the end of the day, she followed her girlfriend's advice and then she divorced her husband. Then a few months and a few years later, some of them now got married. When they got married, you know what they started doing? They refused to share their secrets and their problems with the same lady. They refuse to tell them the challenges they are facing. Even at times she calls and say, can we hang out? She say, I say, I'm sorry, myself and my hubby are going somewhere. Myself and my hubby, we are doing this. And the lady was like, what is going on? And then she now discovered years down the road that these ladies all misinformed her when she was married, and now her marriage is destroyed, and now she's a single woman in her 40s with nowhere to go. And now her friends are keeping their marriage intact, will not discuss. If they have problems, will never share it with her. And even when she asks, you say, oh, everything is fine. And she's wondering, but how come only my own family had a problem? You can't tell me all your husbands are perfect and everything. They say, no, it's okay. He's all good, we're patching it, it's managing. That's when she now found out that these ladies manipulated and destroyed her. And then one day she confronted them. She told them, he said, you guys used my marriage as a guinea pig. You gave me advices. You told me things I needed to do. At the end of the day, I've lost my marriage. And today you guys have your own intact. Your marriages seem to be okay. None of you seem to be sharing any problems, if at all you are having. And now your marriages are celebrating 5, 6, 7, 8 years anniversary, while mine was destroyed years back, and it was all by your bad advice. And you know what the friends told her? They said, but we never forced you. We only gave you our take, and that's how we felt at the time that we should tell you. Now, why would a married woman be taking counsel from single women? Is that not a foolish person? You are married and you are taking wisdom for marriage from someone who doesn't have a husband. What do you think they are going to tell you? They will tell you everything that you need to do in order for you to be like them. And that's what these friends did to her until they destroyed her marriage. And then she now doesn't have a marriage anymore. And now these guys are all flourishing and doing quite well, because they saw the devastation. They saw that starving the man, denying him his pleasure, doing all kinds of things, not cooking for him, all these things create opportunities for him to go out there and look for it. And before you know it, he allows a third party to come into the marriage. And before you know it, there's adultery. And before you know it, the marriage is destroyed. This was exactly what they saw that their friend did and advised her to even, keep doing that, while they themselves learned from it. And then when their own marriages came, they kept it intact. What is that called? It's called witchcraft. It's called manipulation. It's happening everywhere. There are pastors that are manipulating their people every single day. There are pastors that tell people to do certain things just because of what they can get. A man may come and say, sir, I've been transferred to another city, and my company is telling me that they want to send me to so and so city, and I will no more be coming to this church. And the man will say, I'll pray about it. The pastor will pray about it. Then he will come back and say, the Lord is telling me that you cannot go there, that city is not for you, that city there will be problems for you. There's no path there for you. If you go there, there'll be temptations, there'll be problems to your home. So the man now says, okay, what is the Lord saying? The Lord saying you should stay here. You tell the company, if they cannot retain you in this city, then you have no choice but to start out on your own or join another company. Now, the man may think the pastor is speaking sincerely, but the truth is that the pastor may have calculated the loss of tithe, the loss of partnership, the loss of resources that will occur as a result of that man moving. And now the man will be in another person's church. And by that calculation, he has seen that, no, if I let him go, I lose out. So what happens? That voice in him, that small snake that speaks to all ministers that have a hole in the side of their ear, who have granted the enemy opportunity to penetrate them and now take over their gift. That spirit that plugs into fools who let those spirits hijack their gift. That spirit has now spoken to him. And even to a certain level, you will think he's sincere. Because now he's seen a dream, he's seen like a picture showing clearly that man will feel where he's going to. So he can't wait to tell that man, the Lord just showed me that place is problem, don't go. Now he will be thinking, and when you ask him, he say, no, I really saw the visions. And yes, he did, but it was rooted in the insincerity and the corruption of his personal selfish desire. And that's what gave him those false visions that now produce the distraction for the man. And then the man refuses to go, not knowing that promotion was of the Lord. Not knowing that place was where he was going to break forth or meet people that will grant him express to his destiny. Not knowing. And then the devil has used this pastor to ambush him. And that's why Satan can use anybody who yields themselves. That's why the worst thing that can happen to any minister is for you to have impure motive. You must have a pure heart, because with a pure heart, you cannot give people false prophecies. Many times people are misled, people are led to do things they ought not to do because someone gave them a word that is not of the Lord. And the reason those persons did it was because they were already twisted, as it were, based on the fact that the inclination or the direction that person is going does not profit them personally, or does not aid their ministry personally, or does not help them get to where they want to get to personally. And as a result of that, they are knocked off their rockers. They're knocked off their pedestal. So you must understand the dynamics of this deception. That's why a lot of people constantly fall into this problem, not understanding that there are too many manipulators. Someone will sit you down and say, as your friend, let me tell you, don't do that, don't do that. And many times it's not coming from a pure heart. It's coming from a contaminated heart. It's coming from an envious heart. It's coming from someone who doesn't value the essentiality of your destiny. And now you are misinformed. Not only is not allowing you get to your destiny, it's even worsening the situation. It's not allowing you gain traction in life. And you find yourself constantly drifting away from the centrality of your purpose in God. So you must understand the power of having divine instruction and divine direction, or you'll be misinformed. And Satan is misinforming destinies on an end. He's using it to bring people to a place of ruination and limitation, because he's taking advantage of data that is not moving them forward. People get online, take advice from people they don't know. People get online, listen to a clip, and they think it applies to them. Think of a business idea. People go online looking for revenue streams. Instead of them to have a skill they have developed that they can now monetize, rather they go online looking for, an extra monetary scheme or something of that nature. And before you know it, they fall into all these schemes and all kinds of problems. And then the little that they even have, they now lose it. It's called misinformation. And that's what Babylon does. The spirit of manipulation operates from the depths through rewriting your history. The spirit of manipulation operates from the plains through giving you information that won't move you forward, but rather it will take you backward or keep you where you are. In any case, you are not getting to where God has designated for you. And then now we get to the last one, which is the third pedestal of information. And that has to do with those that operate out of the heights, be it the mediums, the diviners, the clairvoyants, the seances, the necromancers, be it those who read the fortune telling, cards, the tarot cards, the Ouija boards, and all this, things that people practice in order for them to get information and then think they can depend upon it or use it in order for them to prosper or advance themselves. These are all the dynamics of the wickedness that is very prevalent in our world today. And the reason why all these things continue uninhibited is simply because there is a whole army of individuals that profit from it. This third group I'm looking at, they are there to make money. They fortune tell to make money. They do seances because they charge you for something. It's all about the money they make for them, because they monetize whatever gift and devils that are in them. Remember the woman who had the pythonal spirit that she was using for divination. When Paul casted it out, what happened? The people who found out that all their hope for their fortunes were now gone were the ones who went crazy because of the loss, the financial loss. So money is really the reason why they do what they do. And they will sell your destiny for nothing. And what they traffic in the souls of men. And the way they traffic in the souls of men is through what? Disinformation. They use disinformation. They will tell you one or two things that are there because they are using attending spirits. So they use that as the hook. But when you come in, then they will mislead you. Let's leave it here for today. Thank you for watching this episode of Son of Elijah. My name is Mac the Lion, and I have been your host for this program. I hope you are able to understand the dynamics of that which we have been trying to teach and communicate in this series. Please do like, share, subscribe, and if you've enjoyed it, please let others know what we are doing here. We look forward to making a great impact in your life, even with many more episodes. Please do join us in this journey. And if you also would love to give to Son of Elijah and reap the anointing and the benefits of that which has been invested for the edification of others. So go to the description below. You will see a link there for those who want to give locally and also those who want to give globally. Just take advantage of it and be a part of what we're doing here at Son of Elijah. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to share with those who need it the most, because you know people in your life who will need to hear what we're offering here. Don't just keep all this good stuff to yourself. Share it with as many as you can. Thank you for this opportunity to speak into your life. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.